Welcome, guys. Today, obviously from the title, you know what we're doing. We're going to be doing a Q&A, and I am on my tablet right now. I'm on my tablet right now, and the reason for that is because last week, and that is why I haven't had any videos up in the past couple weeks, my computer broke, and I'm not recording this on my phone. Instead, I'm live streaming it because earlier today my phone broke. So I called HP for my computer and I had a 1 year warranty on that. So I'm sending that back. I don't know. It was like a hard drive malfunction that was the problem with the computer. So I am sort of sick. Anyway, how are all of you doing today? That's gonna be my question to you guys. But next month, actually not next month, next week on Thursday, I get out of school. That's a good thing for me. Very, very good. I'm sick of being there. So, anyway, guys, it's been a long year. Everything that's going on with my aunt in prison and my mother's death, computer breaking, this, that, and the other. It's just all happened in one quick succession. And it's been both an up and down year for me. Obviously, I'm in this beautiful new home. That's an up. Left that trailer out there and my trailer back that way. That's an up because I didn't like the trailer all that much, and I certainly didn't like the government trailer. But yeah. It is technically my I'm tired trying to comment and I'm just, yawning. Anyway, out there, or it is, the trailer is now technically my home, but my cousin is staying there and his mom was his girlfriend and his kid. But yeah. Anyway, uh, of course, I don't know who is going to be staying there now because they can't seem to follow directions at all. Like, it's extremely hard for them to follow directions for some reason. And I know you're from this family, but still, we at least follow each other's directions. If nobody else's, we at but that's a whole different story. I don't want to. I don't want to really get into that all that much. But yeah. So I was just live streaming this. To sort of say this was the first Q&A, and I know I didn't get any questions. So if you want to ask me anything, type it down below, and I'll take a look. And furthermore, hopefully you all did enjoy this video explaining essentially why there hasn't been any videos. And honestly, I couldn't think of anything to record. But I don't know why I just went to my outro there. Because I'm I'm not even close to done talking. We're going to be talking about the North Korea situation because I want to. And we're also going to be talking about the thing that I just recently heard about, like 4 hours ago, maybe. It was like a big shooting in Texas, like I think it was Santa Fe High School, southwest of the state, I think. And yeah, we're gonna be talking, and not really debating, but more so talking about the implications of that shooting. Now, that man, he was a 17-year-old with a gun. It was in Texas where the gun laws are sort of lax, but at the same time, it's across the state it may be lax, but in certain counties it's different. But I mean, we see all of these shootings happening around the nation, and instead of trying to protect our people, what is our government doing? What is the people in our government? Oh, we give you condolences. We give you condolences, but we're not going to try and make any change happen. We're not going to try and, hell, even if, quite honestly, even if there was more gun regulation, I would be sort of happy because our government is actually doing something. Legalization, I personally stand on the belief that legalizations of weapons as a whole needs to be a thing because our forefathers promised all people the right to bear arms without limitations. We should not be limited on what we hold, because whenever we are limited on what we hold, that is when a government continues to take away more of what we would hold. That's whenever they become tyrannical. And we saw this throughout history, but yet the ignorant masses listen to this lies that are spouted off by the government, saying that they want us to be safe. They're just trying to cover their ass. All of them. Everybody who has any political experience is more than likely only out for themselves. It doesn't matter whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or independent. If they have over 10 years of political experience, then you know damn well they've done something to make money in Washington. And what do you think they did? I mean, before the Clintons were in office, before Obama was in office, before Bush was in office, not only were they relatively poor comparatively to whenever they left office, but at the same time, our nation... Hello! Fiona Buck, what? Hello, the one and only Panda Squad. Hi! Is that all you're going to comment? I asked for questions. Any questions for me? I was sort of on a rant. Okay. Well, earlier in this video, I was talking about the reason I haven't posted anything. But right now, I was sort of in the middle of talking about the school shooting that happened earlier today and the implications of that school shooting nationwide and our government as a whole. So it simply comes down to the fact that these people, they promise all of these things to get into office. Once they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. And the reasoning for that is because they simply know that once you give them your vote, they don't need anything else from you. We see it. We see it throughout history where these governments, they take power, they take charge, and then they do nothing for their people. We see it not only in the US, but also in nations like Venezuela, Brazil, China, Japan, all over the world. They make promises they simply cannot keep. And then people are surprised whenever they don't keep their promises, and offended whenever they can't keep their promises. Wow. And that's unsurprising to me. It doesn't surprise me that these people can't keep their promises. Honestly, the only reason I supported Trump at all during the election cycle is because he had no political experience. If you have a lot of political experience, there's a reason that you're still there. Politics as a whole is not a lucrative business unless you're screwing somebody. You're either literally screwing them or figuratively screwing them. And either way is kind of messed up. But either way doesn't help the people at all and makes you look like a dick. That's why before another election cycle, all these people, they're going to start pandering to the lowest of the low, the lowest people in the nation, to try and get them to vote for them, just to keep them in office so they can continue on their lying, stealing, and cheating. And that's what happens with career politicians. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm conservative, and even if they responded with higher gun regulations because of this, I wouldn't even be mad. Because it would at least show that our government cares about us enough to try and do something. It wouldn't be the smartest of ideas because it would just leave us open for more and more attacks, not only on our rights, but also as citizens against people who have illegal weapons. But it would show that our government is actually doing something and not just throwing its own people under the bus. But, okay. So we're going to sort of transition from talking and ranting about that to talking about North Korea. North Korea and South Korea, the talks they had, yay, with yippee. But honestly, with what North Korea is pressing, it doesn't make sense to me. You're going to make peace talks, and as soon as you make peace talks, whenever somebody performs a routine, I cannot stress that enough, routine military practice that you knew was going to happen, you get angry. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make sense to me because I'm an intelligent person. Nobody can really say that what North Korea as a whole is doing right now makes any sense at all. The United States hasn't even lifted sanctions yet, and they're already proposing not talking. They're already thinking of the idea to stop communications. That's moronic. Not only is it moronic, but it's self-destructive. I know there's some people, if Kim Jong-un is watching this, and I know he probably isn't, if anybody in North Korea is watching this, and again, I know they're probably not, but if they are, let me ask you something. What is your government? What is your government but more than a piece of you? What is your government? And this is Western ideology. Not only that, but it's also Judeo-Christian ideology. And if you don't know what that is, it's religion. Now, with this, we see a lot of discourse between North and South Korea through arguments, routine military drills, etc. But the thing that can't be stressed enough is the difference in government. South Korea is truly prosperous. Its people being able to feed themselves, having an economy greater than many of the U.S.'s other allies because of its democracy and because of its rule by the people. Japan doesn't have that, and their economy is in shambles. Their economy is worse than Greece's 2 years ago. Anybody gets that reference? But, and then we have China and North Korea. China has kept their promises, which is why North Korea decided to talk with South Korea at all. But to sort of bring an end to all this madness, it will end in one of two ways. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un being assassinated by rebels or what have you, United States Marines maybe, or North Korea becoming a land of the free as the rest of the world is steadily becoming. With the exception of Europe. But that's for another time. And this will happen over time. I see Europe being doused in Islamicism, and furthermore being dragged back down to monarchies as the rest of the world around it evolves, because the current leaders decided that it would be a good idea to give power to immigrants, to never tell the immigrants that you can't do this. It's always the fault of the people in the nation that they're not taking in enough immigrants. The nation doesn't take in enough immigrants, shame them until they do. That's the European ideal. With the exception, the obvious exception, of Switzerland. And I feel sad to say, but Switzerland, I feel, as time goes on, will fall to Islam. Not because they are going to be a part of the EU, but instead because they're just going to be overwhelmed by the amount of people trying to flood into their borders. And this sort of brings me back to the gun thing. Obviously, the whole North Korean situation. Kim Jong-un, if he doesn't stop this, his nation will fall apart. It's that simple. People are in poverty, starving, just all around self-destructive behavior. And as a nation, they simply can't take the brunt of the 21st century alone. And they will be alone. North Korea, if they did not try to make even a white peace with the United States, or a white peace with Japan, South Korea, etc., European nations, steadily we will see Russia and China turn their backs on North Korea to avoid nuclear war. I see this happening because truly Russia, China, the United States, all these big nations, India, they all want the best for world peace. And it comes down to the bottom line that whenever North Korea begins to see forming cracks in their government, it'll all come crashing down. North Korea can't sustain these cracks because the North Korean government has been so oppressive. Once their people know what they're missing, their people will rise up in revolt. With the backing of South Korea, these revolutions will eventually become full-scale democracy. And that is how North and South Korea will become reunified. Not how the West envisioned it in the 50s, but just a bit more, just a bit more violent. So, now it's time for me to do my outro. If you did enjoy, like the video, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, all that grand things, and I'll see you all in the next video. If you guys liked this video, let me know some things down in the comments you guys want me to talk about or do, because I still have like 3 weeks until my computer both ships out and comes back from India, where it's supposed to be being repaired. So until then, I'll see you all next time.